Hello, welcome to part 3, Refutation of Rugg, Ruggiero. He did a couple videos refuting full preterism, so we're going to give Lou some more humble pie. Part 1 of the video, we concentrated on the theme of the regathering of Israel and the harvest theme of Matthew and Revelation and Daniel chapter 12. And we focused in especially on Matthew chapter 24, verse 31, the gathering of the elect at the second coming of Jesus Christ. In the second video, we developed just a little bit the regathering of Israel, according to the promises, according to the prophets, was going on in Peter and Paul's day. They believed their ministry was fulfillment of the promises given to Israel. Isaiah chapter 11, Isaiah 49, Ezekiel 36 and 37, Hosea 1 and 2. So in this part 3, we're going to deal and wrap up this video series, hopefully. And we're going to deal with a couple of the things that Lou had to say. But in the first 2 parts, we wanted to really hammer on the gathering theme and the harvest theme and the regathering of Israel and how that was consummated finally in AD 70. Because that was Lou's main point. That's what he thought was at the heart of the matter. So let's get right into it here. I'm just going to kind of go pretty quickly here. Get this in the next few minutes. I want to get this series done. He brings up Matthew 24:34. We already dealt with the regathering and all that, so we're just tying up some loose ends here. He said, "This can't be this generation." Now here's what the text reads. "Verily, or truly I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled." Who says it can't be this generation, it has to be a future generation, because the gathering did not happen. We already demonstrated that the regathering was happening at that time, and we demonstrated that by his own hermeneutic. He must admit that the gathering did happen then. But it's only because of Lou's presupposition, because of theological reasons, not exegetical reasons, not grammatical reasons, that he puts this off in the future. And that's what all futurists and dispensationalists have to do. Point number 1, all 20 times in the Synoptic Gospels, we see the phrase, this generation. It means Jesus' contemporary generation. All are in agreement on that. It is only when, and it's interesting, only when we get to the Olivet Discourse, Matthew 24:34, Luke 21:32, and Mark chapter 13:32, I believe, when Jesus says, "Truly I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled," they have to put it off in the future. It's because of their presuppositions. It can't be that generation that he was speaking to. It has to be future. So it's not based on exegesis of the text. It's not based on grammatical arguments, because grammatically you can't demonstrate that this generation is a future generation. Since it's used 20 other times in the Gospels, the Synoptic Gospels, and it always means Jesus' contemporary generations. Point number 2 on this text, on this point, is the fact that Jesus says all these things will be fulfilled in this generation. Luke 21, verse 32, with Luke's account of the Olivet Discourse, "Truly I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled." Lou, Rugg, and dispensationalists and all futurists admit that verse 20 through 24 is AD 70. But the rest of the chapter is the future. But wait a minute. Jesus said all these things, this generation. It doesn't matter if you want to put it in the future or in AD 70, where it's its proper place. It does not matter. All these things. You put 20 and 24, 20 through 24 is AD 70. You have to put the whole chapter in AD 70. You can't put some things in AD 70 of the Olivet Discourse, Matthew 24. You can't put some things in AD 70 and some things in the future. Jesus said all of these things in this generation. Okay, here's another argument. Lou brought up Revelation chapter 17, verse 12, and I'm going to read that passage. "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." So Lou's argument is pretty much is that since these horns have not received a kingdom yet and have not received power yet, therefore this destroys preterism. This cannot be the Roman Empire of John's day and the early church's day. It has to be another revived Roman Empire, if you will. A couple points here. Point number one, let's go up from verse 12 to verse 10. Here's what verse 10 says. "And there are," present tense, "7 kings 5 are fallen, past tense. 1 is present tense. And 1 is yet to come. And when he comes, he must continue a short space. What Lou wants us to believe is that John is contradicted in verse 10 through 12. And within one passage, one verse, he contradicts himself. Verse 10, he says, 5 of these kings have fallen. One will come up in the future. Past, present, future. Then we get to verse 12. He contradicts himself and says, well, yeah, they really haven't received the power. Here's the argument. What John is seeing here, that these horns, these kings have received no kingdom yet. If you read verse 13 and 14 of Revelation 17, they receive no power to persecute the Lamb. They receive no power, the Roman Empire received no power to persecute yet. You see, that is exactly what John is saying. In verse 13 and 14 and following, the very next verses, John says, then they persecute the Lamb. All John is saying here is this: the 10 horns on the beast, same as Daniel chapter 7 and the image of Daniel chapter 2, the 10 toes. The 10 horns represent the 10 imperial provinces of the Roman Empire. The 10 imperial provinces of the Roman Empire. There was 127 provinces in the first century of the Roman Empire. The 10 imperial provinces represented the entirety of the Roman Empire. They represented all 27 provinces. So what John is saying is this, is that the Roman Empire as a whole, has not persecuted the church yet. This is what he's saying. Okay, that's exactly what he's saying. And yet in 64 AD to 68 AD, 42 months, that's Revelation 13, Nero persecuted the church. That is the first imperial persecution of the early church. And it's no coincidence that in Revelation 17:10, the text we just looked at, 5 are fallen. One shall come and shall reign for a short time. It's no coincidence that Nero was the 6th emperor of the Roman Empire. Read any history book on the Roman Empire. Okay? He was the 6th emperor. What happened after Nero? The next one for a short time, Revelation 17:10. Yeah, Galba, only 6 months as opposed to Nero's 14 years. And you go to Revelation 13. Nero would persecute the beast. The Roman Empire would persecute the church for 42 months. As I just mentioned, from 64 to 68 AD, Nero, the very first imperial persecution up until this time, it was just the Jews and persecuting the church. You have Nero persecuting the church for exactly 42 months. Then the beast receives a deadly wound. When Nero killed himself, when he died in 68 AD, Tacitus, the Roman historian, says the Roman Empire went into convulsions. It was the year of the 4 emperors. It was the famous year of the 4 emperors. There were civil wars everywhere. It was just chaotic. Tacitus, the Roman historian in the first century, said they actually thought the world was coming to an end, the Roman Empire. So you have a persecution for 42 months, 64 to 68 AD. It was fulfilled. The beast received a deadly wound. Yeah, one of the heads was killed of the beast, one of the 7 heads. Then right after that, the wound was healed after all the civil wars, and it was peace again for the empire. So in fulfillment of Revelation 13 and 17. Now here's another point. The dispensationalist says that in Daniel, that is the Roman Empire, Daniel. And the kingdom was to come in the days of the Roman Empire. Jesus and Matthew and Mark says, repent for the kingdom, the time is fulfilled, the kingdom has drawn near. They said, yes, the kingdom had drawn near. Daniel's prophecy of the kingdom in the days of these kings, Daniel chapter 2:44, was about to be fulfilled. But since the Jews rejected Jesus, this now in Daniel is not the Roman Empire. It has to be a revived Roman Empire in the future. Well, there's a major problem with that, and here's the problem. Daniel chapter 7, you put that along with Revelation chapter 13, the little horn of Daniel chapter 7 is identical to the beast of Revelation chapter 13. They're identical. They're identical. John did not believe that this was a revived Roman Empire. It was the same empire, the same beast as Daniel chapter 7. And John was told in Revelation 1 and verse 3, these things which you see, which must shortly come to pass. The day of the Lord, verse 7, the time is near, verse 3. So the day of the Lord, the second coming, which is the kingdom, was to be near at hand. Therefore, there was no postponement of the kingdom. Now, here's the thing. If it was a failed prophecy. They make Daniel to be a false prophet. His prophecy failed. It just crumbled because they rejected the kingdom. Can't be the Roman Empire. It has to be revived Roman Empire. If this is true, we would expect the beast of Daniel or of Revelation to be completely different than the beast of Daniel. But they're identical beasts, and we're not going to get into that right now because it would take too much time. But they're identical beasts. The beast of Revelation 13 is identical to the little horn of Daniel chapter 7. Now, another point with the book of Revelation, Revelation chapter 22, Jesus says 4 times, "Behold, I'm coming quickly. My reward is with me, to reward every man according to his work. I'm coming quickly. I'm coming soon." He says it about 4 or 5 times. Now, Lou makes the argument that quickly doesn't really mean quickly biblically. It just means when Jesus decides to come, he's going to come rapidly. You know, he's going to take the fastest chariot out of heaven. But there's a major problem with that. And the problem is that 6 times this word for quickly, take, I think it is, 6 times besides the book of Revelation, take never means what the dispensationalist means, what they think it means for eminence. Quickly always means just that, quickly. It's used 6 times outside the book of Revelation. Look at Matthew chapter 28. The angels there telling the women, "Go tell Peter and the rest of the apostles, he has risen. Tell them that he is risen. Quickly, go tell them quickly." What do you have in the very next verse? Quickly, they took off and they told Peter and the rest of the apostles. You see, quickly doesn't mean, yeah, we're going to tarry here all day at the tomb. We're going to stay here maybe all day and have a picnic, and then when we decide to act, we're going to just run as fast as we can. That's not what it means at all. You can look up that word. It never means that in the New Testament, that word quickly, take. Point number 2, Jesus or John was told to seal up, or not to seal up the book, for the time is at hand. You go to Daniel chapter 12, Daniel was told to seal up the book, for the time is far removed for your day. It's not for your day. It's the same angel, the same prophecy. Daniel's prophecy is Revelation's prophecy. Seal up the book, Daniel. John's told, do not seal up the book. Not for your day, Daniel, for your day, John. Don't even bother sealing it up. So you see here, quickly does mean quickly. It does mean what the preterist says it means, because one is told, seal it up, it's not for your day, and 600 years later, John, the same visions, the 70 weeks and all of that, the kingdom, in Revelation is told not to seal it up. Here's another point. In Revelation 22, Jesus is coming so quickly, he says, he that's unjust, let him be unjust still. He that's unholy, let him be unholy still. Now, does the dispensationalist today preach? Yes, Jesus can come at any time now. But hey, guess what? If you're unholy, you can stay unholy now. You're unjust, you're filthy, you got to stay that way because he's coming so soon. No, that's ridiculous. They don't preach any such thing. They preach repentance and faith towards Jesus Christ. So the quickly in Revelation 22, 5 times he's coming quickly, must mean just that. He's coming quickly. But so soon to John that they were told, hey, whoever's wicked still, let him be wicked still. That's how soon the parousia was coming. Looks like we're going to have to do another video, part 4. My time has ran out. In the next video, we're going to maybe just talk about Matthew 16 a bit, and maybe 2 Timothy chapter 4, as my time has run out here. Maybe just one quick point. On Matthew 16, Don Preston has done a whole video series on Matthew 16, 27, and 28. Lou puts that as a transfiguration, as most do. Type in Don K. Preston, or type in Mr. Don Preston, one word. He does a fabulous job on that. Here's one quick point. Matthew 16, the kingdom there cannot be the transfiguration, because Jesus contextually in the Gospels preaches the kingdom and destruction of Jerusalem. Luke 19, Matthew 21, Matthew 22. The kingdom, coming of the Son of Man, the marriage was to be in the destruction of Israel. And Luke 21 and Matthew 24 bear that out. So I think the kingdom coming in AD 70 of Matthew 16, 27, and 28 makes a lot better sense than the transfiguration. Contextually, this is Jesus' overall teaching when it comes to the kingdom. So yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here when it comes to the response from Lou. I don't want to drag it out, but we're going to do some more videos refuting dispensationalism and establishing preterism. Thanks for watching.